Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzzFever channel, and we have some late breaking news out of CNBC. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo resigns over inappropriate behavior scandal, will leave office in 2 weeks. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said Tuesday he will resign effective in 2 weeks because of an inappropriate behavior scandal that has crippled his administration, saying he did not want to distract the state from important work to be done. Cuomo's shocking announcement in a live stream from his Manhattan office came minutes after his lawyer again flatly denied claims that he had any inappropriate behavior towards anyone during his three terms in office. So we all know that Andrew Cuomo was the counter to President Trump during the pandemic, because as President Trump's approval was rising, as his popularity was rising, the Trump detractors, the Democrats, the mainstream media, activists, and tech giants could not allow Orange Man Bad to actually gain and garnish popularity and or influence. So they dropped in Andrew Cuomo, and I apologize, guys, that I don't have this totally prepared as professionally as I normally do. For some strange reason, since this announcement, since this big bombshell, a lot of the recording type software that we use that requires that we connect to the internet seems to be down. Is that coincidental? I don't know, but I don't want to make that part of the story. But suffice to say, there's no mystery here that Cuomo was brought in to counter Orange Man Bad, despite the fact that we have all this additional information, of course, from the New York Times, behind a paid firewall, and as I said, a lot of the typical functionality that we use as commentators is mysteriously down or not working today. Is this a coincidence? Is this big tech trying to ensure that damage control is continued to be maintained? So believe it or not, I had to go over here to the New York Times. New York Times and Wall Street Journal, top Cuomo aides rewrote nursing home report from state health official to hide higher death tolls. So this should be the story. But Team Democrat can't have someone affecting their narrative, their COVID drive narrative, because right now, as we've covered earlier this week, Joe Biden is on his 70% expectation mark, and he has to hit that. So, as I mentioned on Monday in my breaking story, about how all the media is working together to do these deathbed confession stories to tug at people's emotions, to tug at people's hearts, to manipulate. Because if the government can't implement laws fast enough, or implement laws fast enough, or mandate things, then they resort to peer pressure, they resort to bullying, and they resort to making people feel like a second-class citizen if they're not vaccinated. But the big story, of course, right now is that Andrew Cuomo has resigned. So I looked a little bit more into this, and all of the networks are going into it, but not as in-depth as, say, like, for example, Fox News or other media outlets. So, say, for example, if we go over here to Reuters, go over here to Drudge, we can see that it's right here in the main section here. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo resigns over inappropriate harassment, announces his resignation Tuesday over a barrage of inappropriate behavior allegations and a fall from grace a year after he was widely held nationally for his detailed daily briefings and leadership during some of the darkest days of COVID-19 pandemic. Now, that's the way, of course, the Democrats want to play it. Like, he was the big champion of the pandemic, when in reality he wasn't. President Trump sent him out the big ship, remember that, and he just kind of refused it. And so we know that this is a big, major issue for the Democrats, who are scrambling desperately to kind of tap all this down. It is interesting because Tuesdays are a pretty busy news cycle day. So it is kind of odd that he didn't wait till Friday. Maybe they just forced him to get to this point because he, obviously he was damaging the Democrats in general. But they had to go with a Me Too movement scandal because they can't hold him responsible for his COVID actions, as we see in some of these other articles. with AIDS hiding information, the death toll, the death counts. And they are on the New York Times, but as I said, when we tried to utilize some of the typical content that we use as commentators, apparently it's very strangely down at the moment. So I thank all you guys for your patience and understanding as I deal with and have to come through having to go clutch with the OBS software to be able just to capture this information for you. I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are down in the comments. And I want to thank all of you guys who are watching on Alternative Tech for your support and continued support of the channel. We do seem to be growing quite well in some of those areas. And of course, all of my followers here on YouTube, you guys are always coming through for me, and I appreciate everything you guys do. And of course, this is kind of bombshell information that this is going on. They finally were able to get Cuomo to resign. Of course, they are constantly going after President Trump, continue to go after President Trump. And I think Trump is guilty was trending just the other day. And they were saying things like, everyone knows in their heart, everyone knows in their soul that Trump is guilty. Well, if he is, then why is there no conviction? Why is there no conviction? Now, I don't know whether or not there'll be a conviction for Andrew Cuomo if this goes through. I think the Democrats will try to keep it all as quiet as possible, maybe settle out of court with these women or hush it all up. But what they will not do, most likely, is go anywhere near any type of COVID infraction that he may have been involved in, which is really kind of a central point for many, particularly now that we're going into the COVID push right now. And so I think this is just a distraction to keep everyone from focusing on Cuomo, the Democrat champion against Orange Man Bad, looking bad because of what he did with the nursing home scandal, which is just awful, just as awful as what he's being accused of here. So thank you guys for your continued support. Below this video, you'll find the links to my various social media. You guys are welcome to follow me there as I do daily posts. And of course, thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments. The channel is very close to 7,000, so if you haven't already, be sure you're subscribed. And appearing right there on the screen, that would be the channel icon for the channel. You can click on that to subscribe directly and or on notifications. Thank you guys for tuning in to this late breaking news, and I will see you in the next video.